I want to welcome you to another radio show, another episode of Jon Jon Radio, RiVA City's #1 radio show, now on radio. Here we have my co-host, my co-pilot, Coach.
Guess who's Bizak? Jon Jon Radio, RiVA City with the co-host Coach. Richmond's on the map. We do it for the 804, #1 radio show. Yeah.
I like that, Coach.
Thank you.
I like that.
Smooth.
If you see there's someone here who you've never seen before,
What's good?
he goes by the name of Merc. Merc, right?
Yes, sir.
Merc. And when we asked about him, he said he's from RVA, and he doesn't think of himself as a photographer, but more like a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
More like a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
So, before I give you any more introduction, I'm gonna let you take the wheel. So, who is Merc?
Merc, let's see, just a random guy. I fell in love with photography, and it's just what I like to do, you know what I mean? Like, just shoot whatever, like, everybody in the moment, just whatever, pretty much, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Traveling through Richmond.
Just
going around, you know what I mean? Just shooting everything, any and everything.
What's your favorite part of Richmond?
Ooh, I want to say downtown.
Downtown?
Yeah.
Downtown, I spend a lot of time downtown.
A lot of energy downtown.
So much. I mean, just because you got VCU downtown, you got the clubs, the party scene, the art, everything. Like everything about downtown is just, especially it's the capital.
It is the capital.
So it's like being from the capital, and I can just, 10, 15 minutes, go downtown. I can just do whatever I want to, just go.
You're a real cool guy. I feel like I know you all my life.
Yeah.
You're a real cool guy.
I appreciate that, yo.
Real cool guy.
Okay, so you were born in Richmond.
Yep.
You grew up here your entire life.
Yes, sir.
What would you say you love about shooting Richmond the most?
Ooh, man. I would say the best part about it is just the street side of Richmond.
Yeah.
So just up and down Broad Street, or probably going to the gallery like on First Fridays or something.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's always different on First Fridays. Like every First Fridays, I'm gonna see something different. I'm gonna see some new art.
Okay.
Just everything's just always different, you know. Always.
First Friday?
Yep.
Word.
Okay.
And since Richmond, it has this culture, how do you feel that you're contributing to the culture of Richmond?
Pretty much by just showing everything, the aspects in and out of everything of Richmond. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, like now, it's growing, because a lot of people are coming to VCU and seeing what's going on because of like the basketball and everything. So it's really growing, like the culture-wise. So being here all my life and seeing it go from where it was to where it is now, I can pretty much just show everything that's going on and how it's
So you see the change in the culture.
I've seen the change.
It's beautiful to, see the progression unfold before your eyes through the years.
Yeah, especially like the stores. The stores coming up like round 2. Like at first we never had a round 2. Like they're making like a gallery. We got the Utmost now. Just everything it's just growing. School, they got new buildings coming up. Everything.
And the good thing about it is that you have people coming to VCU, Virginia Union, and other colleges mixing like a melting pot.
Yeah.
So it brings the cultures together, and everyone can just borrow and add to the pot.
All vibes, all good vibes.
Creativity.
It's all good vibes. I see a lot of creative people. I met a lot of people down here that's just out of the ordinary, that's like pretty cool in their own way. So it's like, I like to shoot that,
So, this is a two-part question.
Okay.
Well, there it is.
What made you pick up the camera? And, what inspires you?
I can answer that at the same time. Back in middle school, I went to Henderson.
Henderson?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Spanish teacher, shout out to Miss Sierra Jones.
Miss Sierra Jones.
She put me on the newspaper staff. Like, she was like, I need you to help me out. I was like, all right, I got you. And I didn't have a camera at the time. I didn't know what I was doing, anything like that.
Right.
And she gave me her little digital camera, and she was like, I'm gonna just need you to take pictures at the event so we can get this newspaper going. And I was like, all right, cool. So I just started taking pictures for her, and like she looked at the quality and everything, and I was like, I mean, you like it? She was like, it's cool. She was like,
So did she walk you through
nah,
how to?
It wasn't a walkthrough. It was like she just gave me the camera.
They said go.
And
Bye.
I started playing with it, and she was like, cool. From now on, you're the only one who can touch this camera. And I was like, all right, cool. So I mean, throughout, I just on and off, I just kept picking up different cameras and just shooting, you know, and just doing different things, like, finding my way.
Now, what kind of cameras do you use?
Now I use a T3 Canon, a 7D Mark II, and GoPro. You know.
So for those who don't know the T3s and the languages of the GoPros,
Oh, I know what he said. It sounded real good.
It's kind of like
a lot of letters and numbers though. A lot of letters and
There's
numbers.
levels to it. So it's like the T3 is kind of, I'm not going to say like the basic camera of the Canon, but it's kind of like one of their simpler models, you know. So it's like as you go up in quality, you go up to where it's like the T3. Say if I'm using that, you know, I know it's just gonna be simple. Yeah, I can do video with it, but I'm gonna have to have like a different kind of lens to make that come out.
So to someone trying to get into the game, where should they start? Like a T3i?
Yeah, they can start there. Yeah, you can start there.
Does the lenses matter at all?
The lenses, depending on what you want to go shoot, you know, depending, because you have some people that like portraits, you have some people that like street photography, like some people that just want to do like a weirdly enough hand model type stuff. You know, it's very different. It just depends on what you're into.
Now, how much do them things cost?
Pricey. I mean, the T3, I would say they'll be looking at about $500-600.
Woo!
You know,
Expensive hobby.
yeah, and as you go up, I mean, the lenses, they can run you starting off at like $50, but then as you go up to like the cameras and stuff, like the 7D Mark II, that was about $1,600 right there. But as you go up, they get pricier, and then like the lenses, they'll go from starting 50, and then you end up at like 1,000 or something like that. So it just really depends on what you're really into shooting.
So you have to be serious.
You have to be really serious and dedicated to it.
Serious and dedicated.
And protected, because you walk around with thousands of dollars of gear.
Yeah, very protected, very protected. Like, cause honestly, just like a car, anything can happen with your camera. Anything. Like, I mean, I went to one event where I was like, it was like kind of like a house party, but it was like good names there that's doing stuff, and a guy had beer and it splashed on my camera. Like, luckily I kind of saved it because I had it down. But
you gotta protect the baby.
I protect the baby, all costs. But you know, a little bit of it like got it into like the part where my flash is.
Was it damaged?
The camera wasn't damaged, but the flash part, it won't go up anymore. I can get it fixed, but I was like, I really don't use the flash on my camera, so it's kind of like I was cool with it. So I was like,
So you was cool
you
with
know,
it.
I tried it all, made sure the camera was cool. But yeah, you have to really protect, you know, your camera. It's an investment. So once you get it, it's like you have to protect it.
And we noticed you're from Richmond.
Mhm.
Now you weren't always a photographer. Now you were always who you were, but before you became a photographer, and then once you got to that status, how were you known as Merc, the photographer?
It's so dope. He's only known by one name.
Yeah, how I started.
We don't even know his real name. You think I'm lying? It's Merc.
Yeah, I don't use my real name, but how I really got into it was I started to go to a lot of shows, like going to like the National or going to the Camel. Shout out to Octavian X and K McCoy. They really started like me getting serious into it because they had like this event called Epic Fest. So
Epic Fest, familiar.
yeah, so I started going there, doing their shows, and started taking more and more pictures, just meeting more people and everything like that. So I was already serious about what I wanted to do, but they helped me get into it a lot more. I started doing stuff for them for a good 4 years, so that really helped me, you know, push to do what I want to do more.
Now, while you're out there doing your thing, do you think it's better to just naturally become a better photographer, or do you think you should have to go to school for it?
Honestly, you can go to school for it. I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I was pretty much just self-taught. It really depends on where your heart is. So it's like with me being able to pick it up in middle school and everything like that, that pushed me.
You were young enough.
Yeah, I could pick it up then and then continue going to get better and better, and then, you know, that's how it goes. You know, some people, when they pick it up to go to school, it's like they leave high school and it's like, well, I need to figure out what I want to do, and they get a camera and it's like, oh, I should go to school for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really a balance, because like the people who go to school for it, those are the people who you see at like the big events like football, basketball, or they're doing stuff at, like for magazines and everything like that. And then you have the people that are self-taught, that they could probably make it there depending on what they want to do with the photography, but it just really depends. You know, self-taught, they have more of, I want to say, a creative side, like a different creative side that's different from the school, because when you go to school, you're taught how to do this. You're taught what you're looking for and everything. As far as self-taught, it's like you don't have a real.
It's a lot of different paths you can go.
Yeah, it's like you trying to find yourself, trying to figure out how to do it. So it's like I had to play with different things to figure out where I can go with this.
Okay.
And with cell phones having cameras on them, it's kind of like almost everybody think they can be a photographer.
Segue.
Honestly.
Would you guys mind if I took a selfie?
Oh, go for it.
Segue.
Honestly, for real, how I look at it as with the photography with the cameras on the phones, you can't really say. Well, I know some people who take photography only with the phones.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at that, because I used to do a lot of that before I actually stepped up and got like my camera of my own.
Yeah.
The thing about cameras with the phones, you could be really, really good at it. You could be really, really good at it. It's not like you can take away from a camera. Honestly, the camera doesn't make a person a better photographer. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. Like I can have like the best camera in the world, but somebody can have a cell phone and capture that right moment or something at the right angle and have just as best like of a picture than I would with my camera. It just really depends on how you look at something. Some people look at something real different. Like if we're looking at these microphones right now and we have a camera at the same angle, you might see something like right here, but I might see something right here. You know what I mean? It just really depends on how your eyes look at something.
Yeah. So with Jon Jon being the exception, some of us can barely take a good selfie. So how do you know what's a good angle, what's a good shot? Like what makes a good picture?
For me, I kind of just play around with that angle for a minute. Like for some reason, I'm kind of perfectionist. It doesn't seem like it, but I am. So say like if I'm looking at this and I'll sit there and snap it like 3 to 4 times probably in that angle until I get it. It's really depending on how that person sees that picture.
So what would you say your most incredible shot? I know it's not an easy question.
Incredible shot.
But I'm intrigued.
I would say one of my favorites. I took a homie of mine. It's kind of like a movie poster, but we were out at the park, and he was standing by this kind of like this tree branch that comes down, and like he can touch it. So how I caught it was it's like the tree, him in the middle, and like that branch coming down. So it looks like he's like pulling it down, but then once I edited it, it changed it to like from that color to like a black and white scale. So it just turned it to like something different. So it really depends on the editing too. So it's so many ways. It's a million possibilities to make a picture. Like I could take one picture right now and probably make 100 different things out of it if I see fit.
So initially, when you want to get the shot, and when you go back to production, your whole feelings would change.
Yeah, like I will stare at one picture for about 10 minutes, and I'll sit there and play with it before I actually finish it, and I'll make like a good 3 copies of it, and then I might go back later and it's like, yo, I could do this with it. Might cut it in half, might flip it upside down. I might throw.
You like a Photoshop genius?
I don't really use Photoshop. I use Lightroom, but a lot of times I use my phone, weirdly enough.
Really?
Yeah, I have programs on my phone where I'll just sit there on my phone. Like I'll upload some stuff on my computer and I'll take a good 5. Like say I'll go out and take a shot. Like I'll do a shoot and I'll do about 100 shots. Like I'll take a good 10, 5 of those and I'll throw them on my phone and I'll just sit there and play with them like while I'm just sitting there chilling and just make different art.
Programs you use, let me write these down.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, what I use? Let me see. Right now on my phone,
Inside the mastermind.
I use VisoCam for one. A lot
VisoCam?
A lot of people use that. That's good for like changing the color and everything like that from it. I use an emoji cam.
Emoji cam?
Be Funky. And then those just pretty much the 3 right there that I use. But other than that, I just sit there and just play with stuff and chop stuff up.
I seen your Tumblr. Your Tumblr is amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Tumblr real quick.
Yeah, shout out Tumblr. Tumblr is Merc is dope. MERCIZDOPE. Tumblr. TUMBLR.com. Yeah.
So for aspiring photographers, what advice would you give them?
Just go out and shoot. Just find what you really like and what you're passionate about, and just go do it. That's all you can do, for real. It's only one real way to come into like the photography business. Like you can't just come into it and say, I took this shot, I'm like the best thing ever. Like that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because nowadays everybody has access to cameras. Like everybody's a photographer. So it's kind of like what makes your work different from everybody else's? That's what people are looking for. And I don't think my work is like the best. Like I'm my worst critic, but you know, I try to do a lot of different things because I'm influenced by so much, especially growing up. My best friend was from Tokyo, so my mindset has kind of got stuck over there. So like I watch a lot of foreign movies, watch a lot of anime and stuff like that. So like when I see stuff over there, like they're pretty much raw over there. So like their movie, like horror movies and stuff like that, is like crazy. Like have you seen Hunger Games? Like I was telling him about it. Have you seen Hunger Games?
I have.
It's a movie out there called Battle Royale. That was like the first one I seen of its kind. And in that movie, it's kind of like instead of you getting taken away from your home and put into this game to play, over there it was a bunch of students in a classroom that were acting up, and they were like, okay, well, we know how to solve this. We're going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. So what they did is they put them on an island, and long story short, they had to off each other, and it can only be one person. So it was like stuff like that. In my mind, I see stuff a lot different because I'm like, I see the American version, I see the Japanese version, and then like that comes into play.
Would you say it's good to have both perspectives?
Yeah, it is, because that lets you know. And also for aspiring photographers, look up a movie called Everybody's Street.
Everybody's Dream?
Everybody's Street.
Street.
It's a movie that came out. It's pretty much they went around and just did like an interview with a bunch of New York photographers and just showed them in their element, showed their photos, what inspired them, and it was very raw and gritty, and it's just there. Like photography, it just can be anything it wants to be, really.
Yeah. So before we let you out of here, just want to let people know what opportunities you got coming up, because you know we met you at the art gallery. That was by Crenus.
Yeah,
shout out to
Crenus.
them.
Yeah.
So
Great one.
just let us know, you know, what other opportunities people have to see your stuff.
Pretty soon, in June, we're gonna have Epic Fest 5. I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be like a week event. We're gonna be shooting off through that.
Can you get us tickets?
I can try. I can
Okay.
look that up. I'll talk to my boy today.
Okay.
Also, like I'm in a collective as well, so we're gonna be doing shows and stuff like that, making moves, trying to go to New York and just do like random shoots and stuff. Like pretty much all the work is just gonna be just random work. So it's like I'll say just get hip to my Tumblr, my Instagram, and my website.
What's your Instagram?
Instagram, same Merc is dope, same as my Twitter.
Spell Merc.
Tumblr, MERCIZDOPE, and that's pretty much for everything like social network, Twitter, Instagram, the Tumblr, and my website, which I just got back up, is VillainShotya, VillainShotya.com. You can check that out, and that pretty much is like different work that won't be seen like on Tumblr. So you have that work, Tumblr work, and then the Instagram work. So
Exclusivity.
It's like three forms of work. So it's like just enjoy it. That's all I want people to do, is enjoy the work. You know.
Merc, this is dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Merc too for being on time today.
Man, shout out.
We was still setting up. He was outside.
Hey, I like to be on time for some reason. I don't know. It's just professional, you know. On that.
Thank you, Merc.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
Jon Jon Radio.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I really do.